of every day and embrace each opportunity to grow. Remember, God wants us to grow. You know, there's 3 reasons why God wants us to grow. I don't know if you have a pen, you might want to write this down. 1 is to love better. He wants us to love better. We forget the great commandment. Love your neighbor or love God with all your heart, all your mind, and all your soul. The second one sometimes is more difficult. Love your neighbor as yourself. That's hard for us. So we're always going to be learning the principles and the concepts of love until we take our last breath. This is a lesson that will never end. I went to college and I was grateful when I got my degree. When you're learning love, there is no degree. It keeps going and going and going and going until we get to heaven. That's the first reason. The second reason is to prepare us for eternity. In heaven, there's going to be a lot of love, right? So we don't, as Pastor Rick says, we don't want to be doofuses when we get to heaven when it comes to love. We got to learn love. Very, very important we learn love. And then the third one is to become more like Christ. That's called discipleship. For me, that's one of the hardest. Because in order to become more like Christ, I have to grow. And in order for me to grow, I have to know how I grow. And what areas God wants me to grow. What areas does God want to chip away or cut out or eradicate from my life? Those are the questions that I have for myself. My mom's going to come up and talk about the third one. Let's hear from my mom again. Come on, louder than that, jeez.
Wow, yeah, I always used to ask Chris to sing Cellophane Man. Now I see a lot of it behind it. He sings it so good. Oh, man. Anyway, the periodic one, that's every 3 months. Now, when you have your notes from your daily and then your ongoing in the daily, you're going to have a little more of an idea of who you are. You'd be surprised how many people do not know who they are. They're just in a self-centered place and think they are this certain image, but other people see you differently. So it's an amazing thing to find out who you are. And it reveals a lot of your insecurities. I like that Chris said that, because my whole life I felt very insecure and and worthless, and I needed validity. I just needed love so much, and I needed to be validated all the time, and that's really hard to get rid of, and you don't get rid of it until you receive Jesus' love in your heart. Then when you have that, you always feel loved. And nobody can take that away from you. Nobody. But you have to learn how to receive it. And if you don't know how to receive it, you have to ask the Master, help me. You have to ask Jesus how to love, because we really don't know how to love. And as I said before, God says, if you just say you love me, but you don't love one another, then we don't know him. So to know God, we have to love one another. And we have to be taught by Jesus. So we want to get rid of these blockages that block it. Insecurity, fear, needing validity, envy, jealous. All these things just block our way. Anger, resentment, guilt. These are the things that get in the way of our relationship with the Lord. That's why we're doing this. And it isn't just here in the Civic Center. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Business places, homes, anywhere you can think of. It's everywhere. Because Satan doesn't want us to get along. He wants us to isolate. He wants us to have resentment and anger. So he does not want us to do this. But we can take charge. We can take charge by doing this. So, every 3 months, get away for a mini retreat. Bring your daily journal with you. Pray and read your daily entries. It's like peeling of an onion. Every once in for a while, you're going to find another thing that's about you. And when you discover that, okay, I see it, Lord. I'm going to give it to you. I don't want this. I don't want this. The other one is ask God to show you areas in your life that you can improve over the next 90 days and the victories that you have made in the last 90 days. Celebrate those victories. Remember how you were when you started this. It's a journey.
Yeah, they're going to
It's an incredible journey, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. I remember who I was. That's the beautiful thing. The Lord allows you to remember who you are so you can stand up here and give a testimony and actually remember the change. You can feel the change. It's revealing. It's getting rid of that veil that's over your eyes, as they talk about. It's day and night. As Pastor Rick said last week, there's two kinds of people, either the ones that are saved or the ones that are lost. It's really that. It's the acceptance and being humble and asking the Lord to help you. I'm going to ask a very dear friend of mine up now. I already introduced her once, but she is going to give her testimony. And she has just become so important to me in every way. Christy, you want to come up here? Give her a hand. Give her a hand. This is not easy to do, folks, to stand up here and give your testimony. It is not easy. And don't laugh when you see her sweatshirt. No. It's really cool. Okay, here you go, Christy.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
All right, so I was asked a few weeks ago to come up here and give my testimony, and I've struggled with this over the last 4 weeks. And I've prayed about it because I really don't think I have a very interesting story. So I wrote down notes and notes and notes of what I was going to say, and they're in my pocket. I'm not even going to get them out. But basically, I grew up in a fairly nice family. From the outside, we all looked, happy like most families do. I was raised a Christian. I was saved when I was in 6th grade at camp, and I was baptized when I was 13. But I suffered really bad depression, and there was abuse within the household that nobody really knew about for many, many years. And it's something I struggled with. I hated myself, I hated life, and I really thought there was no point in living. So that progressed. I did all the things that a normal person would do. I got married, I had a baby, I got divorced, and I was missing something. I moved to Texas. I felt like I had grown up in Orange County, and maybe Orange County wasn't what I needed. So I left everything I had and I moved to Texas. I figured if I went there and I had nothing, I could always come back because I really had nothing here. So I moved to Texas in 2009, after my grandfather passed away. And my daughter and I spent 2 years in Texas, and it was the longest 2 years of my life. I met somebody who I tried to help, and I couldn't get him to leave my house, and then he tried to kill me, and he tried to kill my dog, which if any of you know me, you know my dog is my sanity. He totaled my car, and at that point I got on my knees and I said, God, what are you doing to me? Why? I really didn't understand it. And it was then that God told me I needed to come back. So I rented a car because I had just lost everything I had. We fit everything we could into a Ford Escape, and we basically escaped. We fled for our lives. I quit my job out there, and my coworker, Chad, bless his heart, he drove us 26 hours back home straight. We stopped once in Arizona and once in New Mexico to let my dog pee, and there's no grass in either of those states. So the dog actually went once in the car too, which was awkward. But we made it back. I slept on couches for a year and a half, and I lost everything I had. I had given my daughter, who was 14 at the time, 2 cardboard boxes. I said, anything that you can put into these boxes is what you get for your memories. So she put her life of 14 years into 2 boxes. And it was hard. It was very humbling. I was embarrassed, and I didn't know what to do, but we got back here where my support was. I had my mom and my sister, and that's when I found this outreach, actually. A coworker from 15 years before posted something that she was going to come feed the homeless people in Santa Ana. Did I want to come? And I'm like, I got nothing else going on, so I might as well give it a shot. And I went, and I found Twyla and Chris, and this outreach. I found out that it was actually a ministry of Saddleback Church, which I was actually a member of, that I hadn't been going to. And this community changed my life. God humbled me to the very, very lowest. I hit rock bottom. And I was just telling somebody that sometimes we have to hit our rock bottom before we can go to God and turn it around, and that's what he did. So over the course of the last 4 years, I've been very involved in this ministry. I found a good job with the county, which is actually what I had wanted to do for a very long time. I had been on 6 antidepressants at one time, and the doctor said that should have killed me. And then I ran out of money, so I took myself off of them, and he said that really should have killed me. But I'm happy to say I'm on no antidepressants, and I love God. And what I found was, even though I was a Christian my whole life, I wasn't living for God. So now I spend my time serving the Lord all the time. I'm out here on Sundays. I work for social services during the week. I go to Hollywood once a month with another outreach, and we go do a homeless church in Hollywood. We're trying to start a Bible study for women in another city for homeless women. And it's just, that's how God works. And now I know that, I was listening to a song yesterday, I know that I'm flawless. I know that all of my struggles and all of my pain have brought me to where I am today. And it was me getting on my knees and asking God to put me into the next step that did it. And without God, and actually without you guys, because this community is my family. This community is my church family. It really is. I'm happiest and I'm most comfortable when I'm out here. Somebody told me a couple weeks ago, he's like, "You're out here a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of is." He's like, "Don't you have anywhere to go? You don't have a home?" And I do. And I'm there when I can be, but I'm out here when I can be, because I love you guys. And so I know my story really isn't that interesting. But, you know, if it helps one person figure out what they need to do, or if it helps one person open up a new Bible, then that's what it would be. I've talked to somebody today, they asked me what the best way to start reading the Bible would be. And what I find is it's a children's Bible. So if there's anybody out here that really wants to get into the Word, come see me. And I'm going to try and get a couple children's Bibles out here. The Bible can be very, very intimidating for people, because it's still intimidating for me. And if we can get some stories read, you know, maybe in our share groups or something like that, then maybe we can work on getting some lives changed. And that's it.
Hello? I love this woman so much. We started out, she said a few years ago, then she was gone a little while, then came back, and I just, right. Our memories, and I mean, just being with her makes me know what heaven's like. Yes, Kurt, standing back there again. I was one of them. I'm a kid. No, you can see this is a family. Oh my gosh, and I'm just so grateful. The other thing that Christy does, which is so amazing, is she does do what our heart is. She does the one-on-one. She took a cat that, what did the cat need to be fixed with? She will help the people with the pets here. She talks to them one-on-one. She does all these things that I don't have time to do, and her heart is incredible, and I love her so much, and I am so grateful that she is my sister. I'm so grateful. Anyway, this is from the team. You can open it up later and start crying in the corner, whatever you want to do. We love you. We love you so much, Christy. Testimonies are amazing. Testimonies are incredible. She's one of our steadfast sisters, by the way. As Chris said before, we have the Iron Men, so afterwards we all are in a circle, and the Iron Men, they share. They become transparent, and then Christy and Jen and all of us, Jen is the leader. She's the leader of the Steadfast Sisters, and this is where this is where they're heard. This is important, so it's not just about preaching, it's about sharing and being heard. So Chris, am I next? Chris, am I next? Could you hand me that thing real quick? I'm so sorry. I forgot I was next. This is amazing. So these are, thank you, Chris. These are Bible. This is the Bible gives us instructions on how to avoid the need of having to make an amends. This is incredible. The wisdom in these verses are incredible. So I want you to listen to them. This is the Lord speaking. Number one, intelligent people think before they speak. What they say is then more persuasive. You want to be more persuasive, think. Don't just yell and react and get crazy and all those things. That's Proverbs 16:23. Then Ephesians 4:29 says, let no fool or polluting language, no foul or polluting language, no evil word, nor unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth, but only such speech as it is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others. We have to be responsible for our words, our mouth. It's weapons. Weapons. We use it very carelessly. So think about what we're saying. And then Proverbs 16:21, a wise, mature person is known for his understanding. The more pleasant his words, the more persuasive he is. You want to be persuasive? You don't act like,